You're listening to Real Crime, the Movie Sleuth podcast.
Episode number 65. We are getting close.
So are we technically retired? Are
What are we getting
AARP?
close to, Scott?
I don't want to say it. I don't want to ruin the surprise for everybody. Because nobody else except for the 4 people in this room know how to count.
That's true.
I barely do.
I just learned last week.
I mean, I failed geometry twice in high school, so...
Yeah, episode 65. We have come a long way here. And I'm very proud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm also very tired. Not only physically and mentally. I'm tired of you, Chris.
It's a weekly occurrence around here.
Yeah.
Being tired.
However, I came this week for one reason and one reason only.
What's that?
Well, the A was to see how you looked after getting the news this week.
What news?
I don't know. I guess the biblical news. Angels.
Divine news?
This week in biblical news.
Jesus still hasn't shown up yet.
Where did Chris? Where are you going? Get over here, dude. You're killing me. We need the news.
Okay.
Limp back over to the microphone and give us the news because you look like crap again this week.
Okay. So this week in news, there's absolutely no reboot or remake news.
Thank goodness.
This is a
You did it!
this is the first time
Thank
for
you.
You did it,
everything.
Hollywood.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank
Yes. Sadly, Blade Runner 2049 is actually being pulled from theaters this week.
That's a shame.
No shit.
Kidding me,
Yeah,
dude?
3 weeks. They gave it 3 weeks, and they're already starting to drop the amount of showings, and they're beginning to pull it from theaters.
Oh, that's because
You know what?
Medea's Boo 2 is coming out. Gotta
Yeah.
make way.
And believe me, I want 2049 to be the most successful film on the face of the earth, but at the same time, I don't care. I'm glad we got it in the first place. And
Yeah.
I'm glad
And
I
it's
saw it.
excellent.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was great.
Yeah,
A lot of fun.
but it did not do nearly what they thought it was going to, which we discussed in the last episode.
Come on.
So
of
the
course it
studio,
was.
yeah. Kevin Feige has hinted that Captain Marvel will be the lead-in to the 4th Avengers film. I don't know exactly what that means, but that's what he said. So I'm reporting on that.
What's the title of the 4th Avenger movie?
Avengers, I don't know.
4.
Avengers 4.
Hey, you got it from the expert.
Marvel makes a formula movie again, part 4.
God, man.
Avengers
But
or
it's-
more are coming anyway, so
Avengers more.
just more.
Fangs are sharp
It's
tonight.
MOAR.
More shitty villains, more bad
Avenger.
color grading,
More
more
avenging.
completely unmemorable scores,
Avengers 4 more. We needed the money.
more shitting on Edgar Wright,
Aw.
Oh, poor Edgar.
more
know.
making sure that nobody has their own personal trademark on any other films whatsoever. Sorry.
Keep
Part
going. Fucking riff. This is great.
Part 4.
Okay, what's next? Because we could probably go all night on that one.
Renee Zellweger is apparently going to make somewhat of a comeback. She's going to be portraying Judy Garland in a biopic.
Ooh.
That's kind of cool.
All right.
That'll be good for her, you know, 'cause she
Yeah,
does
yeah,
good
man.
in drama stuff. And last but not least, Star Trek Discovery has been renewed for season 2.
Yeah, another season.
That's good. I'm
Alright.
glad. I haven't
Yeah.
watched it, but
How
Yeah.
is
I'm
it?
glad.
I hear mixed things.
Yeah.
You know what? Some diehard Star Trek fans hate it, but I think it's pulling a lot of new people into
Yeah.
Star Trek that want,
Okay.
you know, action sci-fi
I gotcha.
on TV. So,
Yeah.
and from what I've seen, the visual effects
Looks
are
great. It looks
like,
really good.
like cinematic type visual
Is
effects.
it like
Like
halfway
Abrams stuff?
between old school Star Trek and Abrams, like kind of trying to
I think so.
trying to be
Alright.
trendy but not too
Yup.
trendy?
Is there lens flare?
You're always going to have a polarizing
Those are real
response.
No,
questions.
is it a Bad Robot Productions?
No.
Oh, okay.
I think I got to say I think you're always going to have a polarizing response from something like this, especially
Yeah.
with a franchise like Star Trek. It's always tough to break in. I mean, I remember when Next Generation first came out. I mean, it was the same response. People were like, "Get off my fucking lawn!"
Yeah.
It's like, and then
Get
know
out
that
of my galaxy.
now time's told on that though. I mean, I'll admit myself, and along with millions of others, that's our favorite part of the franchise
Right,
is Next Generation. So it really pulled through. So yeah, I haven't seen it just yet, but that's kind of what I've been getting to. I've been more interested in the responses to it than I actually watching the damn thing. So I got to get around to that.
So
What else? Come on, Chris, hurry up, let's go.
new releases this week. We've got Jigsaw, which is going to reintroduce the Saw
And I'm
series to theaters.
gonna see it.
Okay.
I'm gonna see it.
I'm gonna see it.
Why not?
All right.
I mean, it looks kind of cool actually from the previews. Looks like they're putting a new spin on it, so it looks interesting
Is
enough.
it another music video director, like
Probably.
probably Spanish music
Yeah.
video director?
Dude, Lee Obin's in
Yeah.
it.
Stomach churning edits back and forth,
Yeah.
just bang, 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 bang. But just because I'm a completist and I've seen all this. That's one of those movies. I've always ended up in a theater just to see those because they're hilarious to watch in the theater. People are just flipping their shit the whole way through.
Yeah.
After the second one, I saw the second one in the theater, and then I was like, okay.
I get
I
it.
could see that.
There's like 7 of them, right?
I
Yeah.
was sick of it already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they made what, 7?
Yeah.
6
First one was-
more?
Same thing with Hostel.
We've talked about that. The first one was a game changer. It really was something fresh
Yeah.
and different. It
fucking
was
awesome.
It was amazing to watch that. Still really cool to watch that.
Even
one.
the second one kind of teeters on that still. It still
Yeah.
has that feel to it, and then it gets a little obnoxious,
Yeah, well then just
but...
fucker's been dead for like 5 movies now. It's like
Yeah.
God,
Oh,
it's killing me.
spoiler. I haven't
yeah.
seen them. It doesn't matter.
All right, God, keeping it classy. Moving along, Chris. What else
next
is out?
up is,
Geostorm. You mentioned
No,
Geostorm.
Geostorm was last week.
Was that last week?
Yeah.
That was this week.
No, next week. Last week it was last
so
week.
I'm
Last
high.
Last week.
I'm high.
I'm stoned. I'm so stoned.
Are you stoned like the hail in Geostorm?
Yes, I am.
Oh my god.
Oh God, this is. I'm sorry, Chris. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Suburbicon, starring
Yes.
Matt Damon, is
Yeah.
in theaters this week. Michelle is going to the screening of that
Yeah, I
tomorrow
really
night.
want to see that. That looks
In-
excellent.
Then Thank You for Your Service with Miles Teller.
Oh,
that
yeah.
comes
Oh,
out this week
yeah.
also. Ben, that writes for our site, is going to a screening of that tomorrow night. So we will have reviews of all
Which
3
Ben?
of these movies. Ben Pivos.
Okay.
He's super excited.
Okay.
Because I'm like, dude, you get to go to a press screening this week. He's like, awesome.
Is it his first one?
It'll be his first one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Will it have his name on there, or will it
Yeah.
just say the movie?
Oh, that's so
sweet.
cute.
Yeah.
That'll be.
Yeah, they've started doing names now instead of the
That's cool, yeah.
sites. So that's all we got for new releases this week.
Suburbicon looks great.
I know
Yeah,
that
it looks
movie's
cool.
gonna own.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen the trailers for it?
No.
Really?
Trailer.
No.
Wow. It looks
fun.
awesome.
It's called Rubicon?
Suburbicon.
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 Yeah.
Oh, that one.
It's
I'm sorry. I
written by the
misunderstood.
Coens and directed by George Clooney.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
called a Rubik's
it's kind of
Cube.
got definitely a Coen Brothers feel.
Oh,
yeah,
like, I actually-
absolutely.
yeah.
It's like a Serious Man, but much darker. That's the feel of it, and it kind of has like a Fincher vibe to it, like
Yeah.
the weird what the yuppie like white problems,
Suburbia.
Yeah.
but like in
Yeah.
a kind of eerie, surreal way. It's got a really cool vibe to it.
Sweet.
Wicked.
It's probably gonna be super funny.
Yeah. So are they pulling Blade Runner like when?
I think they've actually just started downgrading showing times
Okay.
right now. Like most theaters only have like 2 or 3 showings
Okay.
a day instead of like 8. And then I think by next week it's going to be down to that.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna be seeing it.
Our theater only has 3 showings this week, as I was looking at
Yeah.
listings this
Yeah.
week to see what I wanted
America,
to see.
you
and-
done fucked up.
Yeah, it's
I'll be seeing it a third time.
You've already seen it
tomorrow.
twice?
Yeah.
cool.
I have to.
I need to see it on a bigger screen because I went to go see it at Star opening night or AMC
Yeah.
opening night.
Dolby
And it-
Cinema?
No,
Oh, I did.
it was in one of just the standard theaters, and
Yeah.
it was disappointing because it wasn't like massive.
Right,
and that's
like
how I
it
need to see
looks,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, we saw it in the
Dude.
big massive screen. I don't
Yeah.
even, it's huge.
Could you imagine
massive.
if that was filmed in 3D, and then we actually got 3D glasses to watch
Like
that?
native 3D.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
I don't
for
know
real
if that
3D.
would be Denny Villeneuve style.
No,
but
I know. I'm just saying, like, could
they
you
did.
make the grand
They did a
scope
really
of all of it?
shitty post conversion to 3D.
I'm not seeing that.
Well,
Did
of
they?
course not.
They did?
Yeah, they did.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But if you can, please go see Blade Runner 2049
Yeah.
this week, and definitely see it in Dolby Cinema if you can find one. Because I saw it in the regular theaters, and it was awesome, and I loved it. But Dolby Cinema takes it to another level. The color and the clarity with just the screen itself is amazing, and the sound is, God, that movie has just incredible sound.
Is it still in the Dolby Cinema at AMC or no?
No, I was actually checking because I wanted to see it again in Dolby
Right.
Cinema, but it's not even playing in Dolby anymore.
That sucks.
Not around here anyway.
Yeah.
So suggested viewings.
Blade Runner 2049. Go see
We
that movie.
got Jesse covered.
Please go see that movie before you miss it. It's the kind of thing you have to see in a theater. You have to see it in a theater.
It should be seen.
For me, I'm gonna say American Satan.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh
watch
yeah.
Yeah.
It was really cool. It's Malcolm McDowell plays Satan, and it's about a band that makes a deal with the devil, but it has really good, how most rock movies, they always fail in the live performance part of
They
it.
just don't get it.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
they do get it with this because the singer
Green
is
Room
from-
got it.
well,
Green Room.
Oh,
looked
yeah,
that
yeah,
was
they
very authentic. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh
with that.
shit! If you haven't seen Green Room,
Yeah, that was very-
That's my horror movie suggestion. If we gotta make it horror movie, it's gonna be Green Room. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Chris. All right, sorry.
it has the lead singer from Black Veil Brides in it, and then also
That just
members
lost
from
him. They fucked that up. Anyway,
yeah,
go
but
ahead.
anyways, but he's really good in the movie, and the
he's
movie
fine as fuck.
and the movie in general is just really good. So that was a new release that was just out this week. We've got a review of that one, but yeah, American Satan was pretty cool.
Can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I read the review yesterday. It sounds pretty sweet. And
H, what'd you see? Or what's your suggested viewing?
I just watched Beetlejuice the other
Good
day.
girl. Good girl.
So
Awesome.
Yes.
and that movie is
You
still
behave.
fantastic.
That movie's
God, I love that
timeless,
movie.
man.
Yeah.
I can watch that so many times.
I have to imagine there's probably a lot of young listeners that haven't
And I-
seen Beetlejuice yet, and probably just think it's this dumb, fucking corny
No,
old
man.
comedy. But
Dude.
Beetlejuice is awesome. You got to see Beetlejuice.
It holds
Michael
up.
Keaton was
It still
sick.
does.
Yeah, Michael
So
Keaton's
sick.
performance is
Just,
so
you can't-
awesome.
you
It's
can't
one of the
touch
best
that.
comedy performances.
Everybody
I think,
in the
ever.
movie is great.
Yeah.
Catherine O'Hara is amazing.
Yeah. You can't touch that. Winona Ryder.
Yeah.
It blew my mind,
Yeah.
dude. Mine for this week is 1922. This is it's a new Netflix thing. It's a Netflix production.
Thomas Jane, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw the trailer for it just somewhere bopping around the internet. I'm like, now that looks interesting, and I'm glad I did because I watched it on Sunday, and then just before I came here at night, I made my better half watch it also. So I watched it again because I just liked it that much. It was super cool. It's a timepiece, It's really cool. But yeah. I obviously don't want to spoil it, but man, it's a great slow
Stephen
burner.
King, right? It's
Yeah,
based on
Stephen
a Stephen
King,
King
yeah.
story.
Yep, adaptation.
That looked really good.
It is. I really can't suggest it enough right now. While it's up there, go up there and watch it. You guys will. And it's great for the time of year too. It's
Well,
great.
and Thomas Jane does his best sling blade in this movie.
He don't open his mouth
he?
though. He don't open
He
his
don't
mouth
open his
one
mouth
time in the
when he's
whole
talking
movie.
all
Just he
like
talks like
this.
this the whole time. It's like
Oh,
crazy,
really?
dude. Yeah.
Okay.
It's awesome. No, he really
Is
nails
it
it.
really cool.
is it set in 1922?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like where in 1922?
Nebraska.
Oh,
Yep.
nice.
But yeah, I don't want to spoil any more of that. Go watch it. You'll love it. It's
Yeah.
totally sweet. Totally
All
great
right.
flick. That's my thing for this week. Chris, what are we going to be talking about this week?
Well, since it's Halloween and we really haven't done a Halloween podcast this year, we're going to talk about.
I'm whooping. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
We're going to be talking about iconic killers in slashers.
Yeah.
Killers that we love to huggle and make out with.
Yeah.
Like Freddy Krueger and that tongue through the phone.
Well, that's the first thing I had on my list was actually Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The incredible Freddy Krueger, played by Robert Englund. The original film, 1984. And yeah, what's there to say about Freddy Krueger?
He's the
Plenty.
man.
Okay.
One of the most, arguably one of the most surreal slashers ever. One of the most imaginative, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good job, Wes.
I mean, getting you in your dreams, like what the fuck, man? That's a hardcore idea right there.
Yeah.
Like you can't, you gotta sleep, bruh.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and
Come on.
that is, that's what made it such a painful for the characters. Obviously, is that's the battle. It's not battling necessarily. Well, it is battling him, but it's battling fucking fatigue. And I think that's something a lot of us can identify with too. I mean, I don't sleep that much anymore. But to have that kind of stress on you, just that idea, like, well, if I fall asleep, I'm gonna die.
Well,
it
taps into that, like that. A lot of these slasher films and stuff. A lot of I think American cinema taps into a lot of that childlike instinctive fears that we have of falling asleep or whatever, and then the monsters under our bed will get us. And I think Freddy Krueger, Nightmare on Elm Street, I think why they were so successful is it tapped into that innate. Instinctive.
Yeah.
I don't know, fear that we have that's innate in us.
Well, the boogeyman coming to get you.
Yeah,
true.
for real.
The real boogeyman coming to get you.
Well, I think the big thing with Freddy, though, is that he is so damn scary, but before he kills you, he's going to make you laugh with some bullshit line, welcome to prime time, bitch.
Well, yeah,
that actually didn't happen until a little bit later in the series.
Number 3.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it started
Warriors.
off pretty serious and straightforward horror, and then
Even in
it
the
started getting
second one.
kind of goofy.
The second one was still kind of.
Yeah.
It was still kind of scary in the sense that.
Still a little.
I mean, it was a
It was
little
more serious.
provocative. We'll give it that, but it was still very scary in the sense that these kids are being tortured in their sleep.
The second one is very, very homoerotic. Not
Hey,
that I
I
have.
said provocative.
Yeah, but it is. It's very homoerotic. Very, very.
Would you say the
Yeah.
film is progressive for its time, or would you just say that was kind of an accident?
I think that was just kind of a happy accident.
Yeah.
But even in like making of videos for that movie, they talk about that that it wasn't something they did on purpose, but it just kind of happened.
Yeah.
You
And the
know.
lead guy is gay. So he was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know if he was though.
No, he is.
No, he actually
He
was.
is for
Oh, like in
real.
real life he is.
Uh-huh.
in
Oh,
real
Yeah.
life.
okay.
Not in the movie,
Oh,
but
wow.
he is in real life.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So favorite Freddy Krueger film, favorite Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, easily Dream Warriors for me.
Yeah.
It's the most colorful one, I think.
Yeah.
It's just the one that really, I think, and I don't know too many people who don't say that.
Yeah, that's a
Dream
very
Warriors,
popular choice.
I mean, it had a great soundtrack first off, so
Yeah.
it was really in with the time. It was everything we liked, hard rock and stuff. So that really pulled us in. But it just was a very colorful film, though. Too, just the characters were very fleshed out.
Yeah.
You really, I mean, I really did. I was rooting for him for a change. Where before any other Nightmare on Elm Street film, like, it's fucking meat.
Yeah,
get him,
yeah.
right? Where that film, you're actually rooting for those characters.
It taps into another,
Yeah.
taps in the power fantasy, man. Finally, we get to get back at Freddy.
Yeah.
You know,
You know?
Yeah, and he did get his ass kicked a few times in that.
I would still have to say the first one is my favorite, no matter what, just
Yeah.
because he was developing as a character still. And when that movie came out, that was like a real shock to the system for people. When the first Nightmare on Elm Street came out, it was dark, it was grotesque, it was scary, and people literally bought into the mythology they started building with that.
Yeah.
I remember my aunt went and saw that movie at the theater when it first came out, and like her telling my dad about it, and me being like, oh, I got to see that. And I was
Yeah.
still too young to really see it. When it came out on videotape, my dad rented it for me.
Yeah.
So, I'm watching Nightmare on Elm Street in the
Yeah.
basement on like a 50-inch projection TV
Shit.
on a fucking VHS tape,
Awesome.
That's hardcore, man.
Yeah. But I like Freddy in that because he exists in the shadows in that movie. You don't see him and see his
Well,
face
yeah.
and get all the
Right.
humor constantly.
Yeah.
So that one, it's just kind of like the evolution. So that's kind of my favorite with those.
What about you, H?
Oh, Dream Warriors.
Your favorite?
It's so, like you said, colorful, like the makeup and stuff like that. But rewatching it, the series again, we usually do every Halloween, and Dream Child also is very artistic and really cool. The special effects in that movie are pretty awesome.
I think
That
I'm
one's
gonna
a
go
good
with
story,
Dream
too.
Child, actually, for me.
Yeah.
Dream
Yeah.
Child's my favorite.
5 or no? Dream Child is 5.
If I had to choose a runner-up, it would actually be New Nightmare.
Yeah.
Really?
Fucking love that movie. Like that's when Craven started getting all like super meta and everything.
Yeah.
It's a pretty. When's the last time you seen it?
God, forever.
Watch it tonight,
Rewatch
man.
it. It's. I think it.
I have the whole box set. I should
Yeah,
say.
it's ahead of its time.
Actually, you guys inspired me. I think that's gonna be one of my projects.
Yeah.
So I do have some downtime this week where I get to relax for a change, and I might just bust out that box set.
Hell yeah, man.
New Nightmare is really good.
Hell yeah, man.
But Dream Child, man, some of the coolest deaths in that one. The motorcycle one is
Yeah.
so fucking rad, dude. That's so gnarly.
And he's
Such
even
a
funny
cool
in
death.
that scene too. The
Yeah.
need for speed.
Yeah,
And
that's just so cool.
the dude's skin's peeling off.
Yeah, and it got all the tubes shooting into his muscles, and it's so nasty.
Yeah, it's pretty gnarly.
So all right, now I have a homework to do. Now, thanks guys.
You're welcome.
I'll bust
Watch
it
New
out.
Nightmare.
I'll break it out.
And
I'll
for
break it
those
out.
out there listening, if you forgot how good New Nightmare is, definitely watch that one again.
Yeah, I wasn't really
that's-
thinking about the meta aspect
Yeah.
of that movie. That was very...
He was playing with those ideas. Was that before Scream? The first Scream?
Yes.
Yes,
It
it was.
Okay, because Scream
Scream is
was
super
definitely
meta.
playing with those ideas too, where it was getting really meta and. But yeah, great movie. New Nightmare is a really good movie.
Candyman.
Oh.
It's
Tony
been a while
Todd.
since I've seen
You know,
Candyman.
and well, I'll admit myself. So I'm not gonna be coming from a very educated. I've only seen Candyman like once, the original one.
Yeah.
I love Virginia Madsen. She's one of my favorite actresses. That's probably the reason I watched it because Candyman was super cool and there was some pretty heavy shit that happened in that flick.
Oh, yeah.
Tony Todd's a very cool guy. Got to meet him actually.
Oh, really?
nice dude. Yeah, I got a picture
Nice.
with him. He was super cool. Big guy. I mean, he's menacing.
Well, remember
and
when we were-
he was at
when
the
we were at Comic-Con this
Yeah.
year, he like came outside and was,
was
standing
smoking.
there. He was smoking and like standing there with Shannon Elizabeth, and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I know what they're about to go do. She's gonna get some of that Candyman dong. Yeah.
Candyman, that character, it was a different kind of character too, I thought.
Man, I wish I could remember Candyman. I remember loving it, and I remember it being pretty legitimately unsettling.
yeah, it is very unsettling.
But that's all I do remember.
it's just one of those, I think we're like a lot of people. It's not something that we've really spent a lot of time with, but it always ends up, when you got to compile a list like this for something, Candyman, Tony Todd's going to show up because he was a very unsettling character, because he wasn't necessarily like grotesque. That's the thing.
No.
Like he just wore that big ass massive jacket, had the hook going and shit, but he really wasn't like grotesque looking. He wasn't scary or repulsive to look at. So that's what kind of made him different.
If I remember correctly, it was more about his menace that was so
Yeah.
terrifying about him.
Yeah.
He stalked people.
And I remember specifically at the time because I was allergic to bees when I was younger, so the
Oh,
movie
God.
particularly freaked me out and made me really uncomfortable.
Yeah, I mean, his voice was a big part of that too. I mean, Tony Todd, he's done a lot. I mean, really, Tony Todd's career, if you look at his career, I mean, a lot of his work has been voiceover work. He hasn't done too much acting.
Yeah.
He's done tons of voiceover
like
stuff.
Final Destination
I was just
too.
gonna say that. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
He does
fear-
the voice
Yeah.
as the
Yeah.
mortician.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay, well, here's an obvious one. See, some of these things are just like, we've talked about it. And it kind of bums me out, but no, that's cool. Let's write on it. I mean, Friday the 13th. The original
course,
one,
yeah.
1980.
I mean, that's the quintessential slasher.
Yeah.
That
Now, the
is-
original one had Aaron Lehman. He played Jason Voorhees. I know Kane
Kane Hodder.
There's
There's been like 5.
been a handful of guys.
Yeah.
Kane Hodder's one of them. But yeah, I mean, okay, Friday the 13th, and I mean, we could probably go on all night long about this, just because, and I hate to do that, but I know Chris and I grew up when these movies came out, and we saw them when they first came out. Whether we were at home or in the theater, and Friday the 13th was one of the ones my parents made the wrong decision and took me to see, and they regretted it immediately.
Yeah.
As
Because
soon as the titty popped out.
they
Boom.
How old were you?
oh god, 1980. I mean, I was 5 years old.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
5. Okay.
Yeah, well,
That's cool though.
You're a
if I
munchkin,
remember correctly, that night they took me to see like some fun Three Stooges 3D thing.
Okay.
It was at the main. It may have been at the Berkeley Theater. There was a theater. Remember that there was a Berkeley.
Yeah, it's on
Theater.
12 Mile. It's
12
still
Mile
there.
in Berkeley.
Yeah.
Yeah, they took me there, and there was like the it was like some Three Stooges like 3D thing, which scared the shit out of me.
Really?
Well, Three Stooges in 3D.
Okay.
With a pitchfork coming straight at your face, dude.
All
It's
right,
freaky,
all right,
man. Yeah. And then you got the comedy. It's like, what the hell? So I remember we watched that, and then I guess the next feature was Friday the 13th.
Oh, perfect follow-up.
Yeah,
to,
perfect
Three
follow-up.
Stooges
Whoop,
in 3D.
And I remember my mom
sound
like
of the
trying to
titties
push
make.
me down. So I couldn't watch it, and I'm like, "Fuck
Oh,
you,
no.
fuck you!" And then she finally took me out in the lobby. But I ended up seeing it, not too long after that on my own, and it just was. There's just no mood like that, I guess. It's just such a fucking creepy. I don't really know how to put my finger on it. There's just nothing that looks and feels like that film.
I mean, in the first one, it's the mom.
Yeah.
And then in the second one, we get Jason.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, seriously, this dude can survive fucking anything.
Yeah.
I mean, they blew him up and he still came back,
Yeah.
Seriously.
I don't really
it's
like
kind of funny
Jason.
in retrospect when you look back at these movies like Michael Myers and Jason, and it's like, what are they? Like they aren't really a thing. They just are this idea.
Well, there's this
really.
force. There's just this force, this thing that just comes through and does what they
Right.
do.
There's sort of like a accidental Cthulhu vibe to what they are.
Yeah,
There's this mysterious force of power that they have that's unstoppable for no good reason. That just is the way it is. It's
Other
like
than
this-
money.
Well, right. And,
But-
and I'm not saying there's
Titties.
anything wrong with that. I just think it's a
Titties.
funny way of seeing it, I guess, in retrospect.
Well, no, but that's actually one of the magical parts of Jason Voorhees. Let's just talk about him for right now.
yeah, yes, of course.
Is just that. Now, and there's been so many of them, and I'm not going to pretend like I know every single thing by heart. I don't think anybody does, but that maybe is one of the truly magical aspects of that character is that we still don't know that.
yeah,
In a
that's
time
great.
Yeah.
where everything has to be explained to everybody, and everybody has to know every nook and cranny, and there has to be a million things of fan fiction. Everybody has to explain everything away. That's something I don't think really has been explained. How
That's
can
good.
this person who is supposed to be just a man, strong, big man, who likes to kill people,
Who likes titties?
who likes titties,
Specifically slashing them.
yeah, right,
But he's got
But-
a fucking machete.
but he can live through anything.
Where do you
Yeah.
get that?
Why is that? And we don't know, and that's actually very cool to think about.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
it makes
His
you
kind of
mom
wonder.
like
forged it for him.
a spooky sort of
Sorry.
accident of nature. Maybe we can treat it as.
Yeah.
Titties.
Kind of like Godzilla.
Yeah,
I know what you were
like
going for.
Jason Voorhees is
it's
Godzilla.
Godzilla. Yeah, there's no
know.
explanation. Where the hell does this thing come from?
He's
Right.
he's an inhuman titty
Oh
slasher.
my god! All right,
Okay.
powered by titties. All right,
Never
fine. Here's
actually-
my joke.
Michelle had a Halloween night, and we watched Friday the 13th. 2 or 3 with Crispin Glover and his dancing, that cute little baby. But same thing. Like we were watching it, and someone was like, "Why are we watching this?" And literally everyone was like, "Because." Like there was no need for an
Yeah.
explanation
Yeah,
of
well,
why he was doing what he was doing, and it was just because.
Yeah.
Because it's Jason, like
Well, we
that's
know these
literally
things
the
have become a
explanation.
parody on themselves. I mean,
Oh,
it's laughable
sure.
at this point, but you still, it's like, dude.
But I love
watch
how
it. It's good.
they take on this mythos. Like they sort of take on some of the mud they've been trekking through with like the culture around the films.
Yeah.
And they become more than what the films ever intended them to be.
Yeah.
And
Case in
then
point,
they
Nightmare on
start,
Elm Street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joker is kind of like a character that's like that too, but I don't want to go up into there. But anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Friday the 13th tidbit.
Mm-hmm.
Now that they're
Tidbit. Come on, just do
now
it.
that they're doing this thing with Halloween where they're writing off everything past Halloween 2 and Jamie Lee Curtis is coming back and playing Laurie Strode again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kind of like a Superman Returns. sort
Yeah,
of
they're
deal.
they're
All
actually
right.
just retconning everything past Halloween 2 and they're going to make a direct sequel. And John Carpenter is actually helping them work on the movie and
Okay.
he's doing the music for the movie also. Now, last week, Corey Feldman, bless his heart, came out and said he wants them to do on Friday the 13th where he gets to come back and play Tommy Jarvis again to retcon everything past part 4.
Corey Feldman.
Yep.
Oh, come on.
He needs money.
Well, he needs money, but
Bless,
was
still.
just a
bless
baby in
his
that
heart
movie.
is-
for his illustrious recording
Aw.
career. If you've ever
Yeah.
heard his new
Well,
record, I have.
You heard he got arrested yesterday, right?
Yeah, I heard all. Yeah, well, that's a whole different thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
He's still man.
yeah. I
That
heard-
was in that should have been in the news portion.
Oh, I forgot.
Yeah, hey,
All right,
put that in the news.
Oh wait. Favorite Friday the 13th before we move on to the next one.
Oh God.
Oh,
I'm gonna just from what I was talking about before, how hard I had to work to fucking see that movie,
Yeah.
the original one, because I mean, really,
Okay.
that was a game changer for
Yeah.
me too. I love that movie.
Had you what kind of horror were you familiar with before that?
Well, I
That
was a-
made that such a game changer for you.
He was
I don't know, I was
5.
5.
Just that you were.
It
Oh
was
well,
just
well you
fucking
said
awesome.
that it took a while for you to actually.
Well,
get back
yeah, because
to
like I
it
told
and
you, my
see
mom
it.
wouldn't let me watch
Right.
it. So I mean, I had to
Yeah.
find a way to see the things. I'm like, forbidden fruit is always the
Okay.
sweetest.
Oh, okay,
right?
yeah, all right.
So it was like, I had to find a way to see this movie because
So
obviously
how
it
did
was
you?
so
What's the story of this?
Showtime.
Is
My
there one?
parents were in the other room, and I put on Showtime.
Okay.
Fucking, it wasn't that hard.
All right.
Well, it was because I had to keep looking over my shoulder every
Right.
5 seconds. Right.
Well, that's funny though. You're just this little kid watching this fucked up horror movie on
yeah.
This
Showtime.
titty movie.
it probably wasn't. Yeah. It just tits.
Yeah.
Like, what are those things?
I've
Wow.
got-
I have those because I'm a fat kid, so I had tits too. Right. It was like.
I
I
know
love that
this
movie. I just love
sounds
that
like
movie.
a cop out, but Jason Goes to Hell I really liked, and Freddy versus Jason.
Yeah.
Freddy
What-
versus Jason was a riot.
That movie is so awesome.
Movie is completely engineered and designed for the theater.
Yeah. Oh yes.
If you
Yes.
watch that movie by yourself, just don't.
What? Oh,
It's
a
a total
do.
crowd participation film. We saw that movie shit-faced on opening night, and there was no way I was walking into that theater sober. And same with the rest of the theater, and there was popcorn flying around. And, I mean, literally, it was beautiful. I mean,
movie's
any other
awesome.
time, you'd be like, shut the fuck up.
It's perfect.
But it was just perfect for things. We're just cheering
Yeah.
everybody on. It was fucking perfect.
that
I
movie
love the
really is perfect.
It's a riot. It's a riot, dude. It's a total riot, man.
Yeah, it's just big dumb fun. It's
Yeah, it's all it is. So, yeah, the original for me was just awesome.
what is widely considered to be the best Friday the 13th?
Part 2.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
It was refined.
That's the one with Kevin Bacon, right?
Yes.
Okay, he gets an arrow through his chest. That's the only thing I remember.
I think my favorite one of that entire series, and it's going to sound really bad, is probably Jason X.
Oh,
Are
really?
you fucking kidding me?
It is so god awful,
Yeah.
but it tries to mix in Alien,
I was gonna say-
basically.
Well, yeah,
That's
he's in
the
space.
space one,
When
right?
I remember the previews for the fucking trailer for. I'm like, wow, they put him in space.
They
'Cause
had
every year they were putting out a new one. At the time, it was like this ding, 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 and you're like, now what? What? How
They
did he
had-
end up there?
they had no budget for the movie whatsoever, and it's just so camp and terrible that I watch that movie every year because it's a mix of science fiction and horror, and it's
Yeah.
Jason.
Yeah.
It's terrible, but it's so good. I love you.
What's one like that? I can't think of a really bad movie that I watched that I really like. Is there one? There's got to be one that I watch often.
I
don't
mean,
know.
maybe-
Superflies for me. That's my movie.
Evil Dead 2.
Oh yes.
Yeah, but
Oh,
that's
yeah.
that's
I
a
mean,
great
that
movie,
one
though.
that, but see, that one, I don't know.
Anyway,
It's not
do you
that
have a favorite
good.
Friday the 13th?
No,
know you
I
already
don't like
watched them.
Jason.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't
let's-
like the Friday the 13th movies. Or
Let's move off.
Part 2 was in the hospital, though. Wasn't that part of that in the hospital? Or was that part 3?
You're thinking of Halloween.
Oh God,
too.
no! Oh God.
see, that's
Well,
another
we're moving
reason
on to
why.
Halloween.
Let's move on to
Fucking
Halloween.
tired,
Michael
dude.
Myers. Let's move on to
But
Michael Myers.
okay, well, fine. Let's talk about Halloween. Which fucking movie was that in the hospital?
Halloween 2.
Was that 2?
Yeah,
Yes.
It was 2.
pretty sure it's 2.
Yeah, because Lori wakes up in the hospital.
With the hot water tank,
Pretty
the
sure
sauna
that's-
tank.
Pretty sure it's that one.
Yeah,
I'm just talking about
'cause
that scene.
the first time she sees him is when she gets out of bed and she looks out the window
Yeah.
and she sees him in the shrubbery across the way.
Yeah, I'm
That's how it
talking about
opens.
the scene though. In the the two of the nurses and the nurse they're gonna get it on in the sauna.
Sweet.
And he cranks up the heat, and it gets really hot, and
Yeah,
he
I'm
just starts
pretty sure
dunking her
that's
friggin' head in there till her damn skin starts coming off.
I'm pretty sure
that's some of the
that's
hardest shit to watch. Still, man.
Kind of hard.
I know you are, Chris. But you're sick. I mean, he just keeps dunking her face in this boiling hot water until her friggin' face just basically just comes off of its skull. It's like, Jesus Christ, dude, it's enough. Halloween. Well, it's kind of the reason we're here.
Yes,
Yeah.
of course, yeah.
Michael Myers is just another one of these characters. He's just a one-man wrecking crew.
Yeah.
And he just keeps coming back.
And there is the mystery of that, like we were talking about before, Jesse. Is just
what is it? Why is it?
Why can't this force of nature be destroyed?
Mm-hmm.
Right now, as we know, Rob Zombie did his best, in my opinion, to fuck up the legacy as much as possible.
Did his best
by completely explaining, and giving this force of nature
a
backstory, and more importantly, humanity. Which I'm like, he's a Kiss fan now.
Yeah.
Oh, Michael Myers is a fucking Kiss fan now.
I will put it this way:
figures.
Rob Zombie means well, but I don't like any of his movies.
Oh man, I love House of a Thousand.
I like House of a Thousand Corpses. I think it's complete Texas Chainsaw Massacre worship. The Devil's Rejects. It's a lot of fun too. I mean,
Yeah.
I do like them for the characters.
I liked those when they first came out, and then for some reason they just
don't hold up for
I
you.
don't know. Yeah, for whatever reason, I just don't like them now.
Well, I think sometimes when you
They
get
kinda bore
older
me.
and you like age a little bit, then you can kind of just start to see them.
I don't know. I don't mean it in a bad way, but when I was like angsty and into
that's what I'm
stuff,
saying. Like you get a little bit older, that
stuff was cool. I don't
Yeah.
mean that like you shouldn't like that now. I'm not saying
No,
that.
no,
I'm
I
just
understand.
like I don't know.
No, but his Halloween movies, everything past Michael being a little kid is pretty cool in the first one, but part two is such
is
a
It kills Danny
fucking
Trejo. They kill Danny
garbage.
Trejo. They kill Danny
Yeah.
Trejo. What plan are these people on? You can't. Speaking of a force of nature, you can't
Yeah.
kill Danny Trejo. You're not allowed to do that. It's a fucking rule.
But the fact of the matter is he kind of ruined the legacy of Michael Myers with those movies. I mean, when he's got a guy walking around the town that looks just like Rob Zombie
Yeah.
killing people, I'm like, that's Rob Zombie killing people. That's not Michael Myers killing people.
Oh, I haven't seen the second one.
It's terrible.
Yeah, that's what I
it's
heard,
terrible.
so that's why I never
Absolute
watched it.
trash. It's
I didn't
so
really like
bad.
the first one either. I mean, it was all right, but I didn't really like
And
it.
bless his heart for doing it. I mean, I will take the fair route for a second and say, hey, thanks for trying. But why did you try in the first place? Why didn't you just... It's just that classic thing we talk about all the time.
Just leave it alone.
Leave it the fuck alone. Stop.
Yeah, flatliners. You hear
It
that?
was,
Leave it alone.
It was a marketing ploy. That's what it was.
yeah.
Rob
Yeah.
Zombie. We're gonna get Rob Zombie to direct Halloween. How crazy would that be?
Yeah.
Well,
That's
it's
all that
he-
was.
It's it's just the whole that ties in with his whole thing, And I mean, I do like Rob Zombie more as a director and a filmmaker than I do his music. To be honest with you.
Really?
I can't
I'm
stand
the
his music.
opposite.
I can't stand his music.
I love him as a musician or just whatever.
I still like to break out.
Okay, hold on. I love Rob Zombie as an artist.
Okay, yeah.
Like just everything he creates, his whole just the personality of what White Zombie was, and like that whole his branding, his way of
the
branding
dustiness
a
of
thing
it,
is
the
awesome.
dustiness of it, the dirtiness of it,
Yeah.
grimy and
I love that. I love everything about Rob Zombie in that way. I just
Yeah.
wish he would never make movies again. Yeah.
So I mean,
That's how you
Halloween. I
really
think we
feel.
could go on for days here. I mean,
Yeah. Okay, favorite Halloween movie.
You know what? I'm going to take total shit for this.
Okay.
I know I am.
Say
but we
it.
talked about this on the last show, I think, and I love. And it's not really even part of the franchise. It's Halloween 3, though. It's branded with it's given the name Halloween. I know. Okay, I know. I'm a total piece of shit.
No, I like that.
But-
I like it too.
But I get a kick out of that movie.
Yeah.
I've watched that movie a million times. And
It's
I know, it's not part of. It's
No,
not,
it's a good. It could be a really good standalone.
They should have called it
movie.
something different.
Yeah.
And I know there's a
Is
whole
it-
story behind that.
Is it in what way is it connected at all to the?
It's not. But it's just called Halloween. But you asked me what my favorite Halloween movie was. I'm going to tell you. It's a Halloween. I love it. I really like it.
There's no Easter egg at all that connects.
There's nothing.
No.
Why? What the fuck? I didn't know that.
Yeah, they wanted to go.
I enjoyed H2O a lot.
Well, what they were thinking about doing with the Halloween series is after 2, they didn't know where to go with it.
Yeah.
So they were going to initially then start making Halloween
Oh,
movies
I
as
see what you
if
mean.
they were. Each movie was going to be its own
Its own
separate
flavor.
story, like an anthology.
Right. Okay, I
And
get you.
it didn't
Yep.
work
Mm-hmm.
because people saw Halloween 3 and they're like,
Where the fuck's Mike Myers?
where's
Yeah.
Michael Myers?
Yeah.
He's making an Austin Powers movie right now.
So yeah, I know I'm gonna get beat up for that, but that's just.
I
where
told
I'm
you
at with
Mike
that.
Myers masks. These are Mike Myers masks.
No, they're
No,
not.
man, the
baby-
killer from Halloween. This is a Halloween mask.
Oh
Oh
my
my god,
just hear that
scene
music,
is
you
so
freak out,
fucking
dude.
Funny.
It's
Baby Driver, everybody. That's my suggestion for the night. Baby Driver and Blade Runner and Green Room.
they had a copy of that at Dollar General today. I went there to get some like rubbing alcohol.
Of
So
what
too
movie?
cheap to buy real alcohol.
Which movie?
Baby Driver.
Really?
They had a copy of it, a DVD copy for $20 at Dollar General.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck, man? That's a lot of money for Dollar General.
Let's move
$20.
off of these standards and let's move into
What? My work isn't good enough for you?
No, I'd say Norman Bates should be the next one.
Wait,
we talk
wait.
about.
You're gonna pass over. Now we're taking this alphabetically. You can kiss my ass. No, we'll
This
get
is
to
in
Norman
alphabetical order?
Bates. Well, my list was. I don't know what yours is. Okay, fine. Let's talk about Norman Bates.
Norman
Fine,
Bates.
whatever.
Norman Bates is
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, dude, yeah.
It's been a long time since I've seen Psycho.
Anthony Perkins, man,
Yeah.
the dude.
I mean, the sad thing about Anthony Perkins was he could not escape this role.
No.
Because
Yeah.
everything he did after Norman Bates, he played like Norman Bates. But
I've only seen them film once, and I remember liking it a lot. But
have you
that's
seen
all.
any of the other ones?
I saw the Vince Vaughn remake.
I like
Okay.
that one a lot too, actually.
Well, you should actually watch the direct sequels they made.
Yeah.
Psycho 2, Psycho 3, and Psycho 4 are actually all very well made
They're
movies.
beautiful.
I
Which
think I've
one
seen
has
four.
the? I'm having some tomato soup and crackers.
Was that when he kills his... Yeah, Psycho 2.
Psycho 2.
At the end of Psycho 2.
Yeah, would you like
Yeah.
some tomato soup and crackers? And she sits down and just pulls a fucking shovel out and takes her head off. I'm like,
Yeah.
what the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
No,
Yeah.
Norman, I think, really kind of set up
Yeah.
all of these killers.
Yeah.
He was the original slasher. Even
Yeah.
though he dressed up in his mom's clothes to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But Psycho 2 was great.
Yeah.
I
That's the
like
one that
those
really made the
little
impression on me. I know the
sometimes.
original one, it's like, that's the iconic film. I
Yeah.
know, but 2 really kind of left, it
Was
just-
that the first slasher franchise?
Well, they didn't really start sequelizing it until the 80s.
Oh, so it was like
when
they
when
went
the
20,
Friday the
60,
13th.
30 years after.
Yeah.
Yeah, the original one was 1960.
Okay, yeah, so 20 years.
Yeah, I think Psycho 2 didn't
Okay.
come out till like 1984 or
Really?
something
Alright.
like that. Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
They waited a very long time, but they all interconnect really well, and there's a real arc to the character. He changes,
Yeah.
from movie to
There's an inner
movie.
struggle. You can feel that.
Yup.
There is that struggle. Like, he knows what he's doing is wrong.
He knows what he's doing is wrong,
Yeah.
but he'll slip into being mom,
Yeah.
being mother, and he completely changes. And that was one thing Anthony Perkins could do a great job at. He could change, his persona, change his facial expressions, all that to slip into that character.
Yeah.
And then Psycho 4 was a sequel, but it was more of a prequel, and it actually covered a lot of the territory that Bates Motel TV show did.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's actually like him.
How is Bates Motel?
It was really good. It's
How
over
many
now.
episodes are there?
They did 5 seasons of it, I think. So
Okay.
I think 60 episodes, something like that. And then they ended it.
It was good?
Yeah, what I saw of it, I never finished it, but what I saw of it was really good.
Okay.
But in Psycho 4, the beginning, it starts with him being older and then goes back to the past and shows the relationship between him and his mom,
Yeah.
which was pretty cool. So,
Yeah, Psycho's great. Can I throw one out there?
Yeah.
A really weird one.
yeah.
That I pulled this one because it's one of my gem films that I love.
I got one too, then.
Brad Dourif playing the Gemini Killer in Exorcist 3. Now we've
Hell
talked about
yeah.
Exorcist 3 a bunch of times on the.
I don't remember that at
Dude.
all.
Oh, man.
I don't even know
dude.
if I've seen it.
The Exorcist 3 is pretty frightening.
Brad Dourif sitting there with in the interview sequences. Oh boy, an entire talk about how to properly decapitate someone's head without making a mess. I mean, it's
Yeah.
I think that there was some vocal processing done on Brad Dourif's voice, but some of the valleys he hits with his
Okay.
voice. as
That's
he's
the one with the
explaining-
hospital, right?
What
Yeah,
year
yeah.
did this
Okay,
come
okay.
out?
What's that? This is Exorcist 3
90s?
was 1990.
Okay.
George C. Scott, isn't it? I mean, 2 we know was a complete joke, but 3 really came back strong.
Yeah.
And it did tie into the story. It was great. And Brad Dourif, that movie was the movie that made me fall in love with Brad Dourif. I was like, this guy rules. And it's a different kind of like, I know we're talking about slashers, and he's definitely a slasher. But this was more of an entity, like more of a ghost, more of a possession that was going on, right?
Yeah.
Of something else getting into his body. And he was obviously playing it out. So it's one of them weird ones, but I really wanted to point that one out because I think that he's
creepy as fuck in that movie.
There's that one
Brilliant.
scene where you're looking down the hallway.
Oh God!
And
Oh,
all
it's the
you
wor-
see
God,
is just that guy, him coming out in his like
sheet.
fucking cloak, and then
sheet.
he's got the
Oh.
shears. I was
Oh
like,
God!
"Ooh!"
Oh, stop!
That
Stop,
really
H.
scared
Stop!
me.
No, stop. Oh God! No. Here's one about that particular scene you're talking about.
Yeah.
I was watching that movie when I was working like 14-hour shifts. This is like 15 years ago, and we had downtime on our computers. So we had a DVD player. So we watched movies when we were on downtime, and I put in The Exorcist 3, and I was watching that. And mind you, I'm sitting at a desk, like, kind of not doing anything. I'm on no sleep, so I'm kind of going in and
Yeah.
out. You know what I mean? And that scene kind of builds up.
Right.
Where
like a good 20 minutes.
Nurse Lynch walks into
Yeah.
that room. It's a real long, and that long shot down the hallway you're talking about. So I mean, I'm kind of like going down, like I'm going out of
Oh God.
that we've all went to school, so we know this. That midpoint where you're
Yeah.
awake but you're not awake. You can still hear shit around you, but you're not
Yep.
really know what's going on, right? That's where I was at. And then all of a sudden, that thing
he came out.
sent me out of my chair. I literally fell sideways off my desk chair and fell on the floor. And I was like, "What the hell happened to you?" I'm like, so that's one of that scene when you're talking about that just screws me up. All around that movie's the shit.
Yeah,
And if
movie
you haven't
is
seen it, it rules.
it's genuinely frightening.
Great flick, totally great flick.
Before I forget,
Yeah.
because I just remembered, H, you could have you guys seen the Hannibal series?
The TV
series?
show.
The
yeah.
TV show.
With
No,
I
with
have not.
fine ass
Okay.
Mads Mikkelsen.
Would you consider Red Dragon?
oh, I got that on my list. Hell yeah.
Okay. Well, particularly this guy, though.
Yeah, I forgot about that actually.
You're talking about the series? Or you
the
talking
series,
about
the
Okay,
Hannibal
The TV
series,
series,
the TV
yeah.
series with Mads Mikkelsen.
Fine ass.
Was fucking awesome, by the way. If you haven't seen it, the entire series, it's only 3 seasons before they canceled it. It is so good. But
I've heard nothing but good things.
Red Dragon, played by Richard Armitage. Is it Richard?
I don't know.
Richard Armitage.
Armitage.
Yep.
He was fucking awesome.
You're talking about the series still.
Yeah.
Yes, one of the best, just intense psycho performances I've ever seen.
Yeah.
In an actor. So good.
Yeah, maybe
So-
not a slasher, but horror icon for
Yeah.
sure.
So that is Francis Dolarhyde, correct?
Oh, right.
Well, in the series.
In the but that character that
Yes.
Richard Armitage
Well, Francis,
plays.
Francis,
Yes.
yeah. Because
Yep.
I was I put it on my list. Ralph Fiennes, who actually played Francis Dolarhyde in the movie.
Okay,
Red
yes.
Dragon.
It was 2002. I loved him. I
Oh,
mean,
he was because I didn't
It's-
see
yeah,
that. He was
it's been-
great in
He
it.
had
So
some.
long.
There was some problems with his accent.
Okay.
That was the only thing I'll point out to that.
He was meant to talk like that, though. That was actually specifically written into the
What are you
character.
talking
for his-
about? He
Yeah.
there was a
for his-
couple of weird scenes though.
Where
Ride
his-
with me. For my pleasure.
Maybe
you
he
don't
was
talk
just
like that.
Maybe he was just a shitty actor. I don't know.
Well,
Ray
that's-
Fine is not a bad actor.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
didn't know who was in it. I never seen it.
Yeah.
no,
I sound like an idiot. I'm sorry.
no. You're cool.
I'm
no,
cool,
I love-
guys. You heard it here first. I'm cool.
he. I love the character in the movie. I liked what he did. Like I said, the only thing I had a problem with, I think some of his accent was kind of bleeding. Wait a minute. Now I want to hear all about this though. Why did they intentionally make him do that?
Because the dude's fucking psychotic.
Mm-hmm.
He's psychotic.
But he's trying to get it on with the blind chick though from Punch Drunk Love.
But he talks strange in the whole movie.
Well, yeah, it's because he's reserved. He's shy.
Right, and that's part of the character.
But I mean like his accent, like his.
Does his accent start to slip in the movie?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
okay.
what I meant.
Okay.
That's all I only
I thought
complain
you were
about.
meant-
The character. Other than that, he was awesome. You get to see his beautiful ass, all tattooed up with a dragon on it and stuff.
He was ripped as fuck in
he
that
was
movie.
tough.
too.
Yeah, I mean, they show that one scene, which is very disturbing, of him just putting up like 4 plates on each side,
Dude,
strong as an
if-
ox, you know.
So are you saying that was a? I'm sorry, I kind of missed if that was considered a great performance or.
It was a very good performance. The only, like I said, the only complaint I have is that his as we
Oh,
established,
it's just okay.
his accent
His British
slipped a little bit. I
accent
think
comes
it
out.
slipped a little
Oh,
bit,
okay,
yeah.
I gotcha.
But other than that, yeah, it was, you know, that movie. You've never seen Red Dragon?
No,
the movie?
I haven't.
I've watched. I mean, it's one of those ones I was hooked on for a while. I had to
Okay.
keep watching it over and over again because there's just such a, you know, there's a strange dynamic, and I always forget the girl's name who plays the blind girl in that film. You know, there's this obviously their love interest, and there's just this weird dynamic with that, you know, and the fact that she's blind. She's in the hornet's nest. She doesn't know where she's at.
Man, you gotta watch the
You
show.
gotta see the series. They do that whole thing too.
Oh,
Oh,
dude,
it's
I
so
have to
good.
watch
They're
it.
so good.
Believe me, it's fucking magic. It's
Okay.
Like, oh, it's so
Every
good.
episode is
It's
So-
so good.
So Red Dragon was actually a remake
Manhunter.
of Manhunter,
Yes.
which was out in the 80s.
really.
And the
Yeah.
Francis Dolarhyde from that did not blow my mind.
No, no.
He had the thing on his face.
Yeah,
It's,
the foreskin that covered his
yeah,
face.
yeah. I'm like, yeah, it's freaky looking, but it just didn't blow my mind like, you know,
Okay.
the 2002 version they did. So, yeah, I love that character. I mean, and I guess, okay, I know we talked about this before the show. Silence of the Lambs, Anthony Hopkins. I mean, I don't know if that's, well, he's a slasher and a half. The guy slashed the shit out of people.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, I mean, okay, I'll let
Go-
you. I'll
go
let you
ahead,
go.
go
No,
ahead,
go ahead, H.
no, well, the cool thing about Hannibal Lecter is that he's not really murdering people for the fuck of it. He's murdering people because it's his art form. It's not, he's not slashing and slicing and dicing because he, you know, like some mindless killer. He's doing
Yeah.
things purposefully and he's doing things artistically.
But he's still an iconic killer.
Oh,
though.
sure.
Yes.
Just not a slasher.
That's what I was asking about before we came here. Like, were we doing slashers or what? And then the Hannibal thing came up, and I was like, I don't know if I would consider him that because he has a totally different kind of methodology.
And the cool thing about the show really shows the psychology behind his reasonings for murder, if you even want to call it murder. I can't even bring myself to say murder because it's
Well,
not
there was Hannibal Rising.
really murder.
Wasn't that movie Hannibal Rising?
That was terrible.
Wasn't
I
that
haven't
just some
seen
kinda
any of those
cheap,
movies.
Shitty thing that kind of wasn't associated with those.
No,
or-
it was
It
associated.
was
They
yeah,
did.
it was tied in.
Oh.
They did Silence of the Lambs, and they did Hannibal, which I love. Hannibal.
I love Hannibal. So
Hannibal's
much.
my favorite one of the
It
entire
is mine
movie series.
too, man. Easy.
It's just dark.
That's with
beautiful.
what's
Julianne
Julianne Moore
Moore.
and
It's-
Ray Liotta.
Yeah,
It's directed by Ridley Scott.
Really?
yeah,
Yeah,
beautiful movie.
it's awesome.
I remember it looking really nice.
I saw that in the theater.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that whole scene at the very beginning, the action scene,
I
With
barely
the-
remember.
Oh,
the
heavy,
movie, though,
heavy.
it's so great. And then they did Red Dragon, which was a prequel, and they de-aged
unfortunately.
Hopkins with makeup to make him look 20 years
He looked good,
younger.
though.
He looked decent, yep. And then they went back and did Hannibal Rising, which was about him during World War II?
It was World War
What
II.
the fuck?
Yeah.
They-
Growing up,
from
and they do
Rising.
show you, they go into the metamorphosis of, you know, probably similar to how the series runs. I imagine it's
not really.
really.
No, I don't know. The show.
Believe me,
Man.
please. I beg you
I
guys
really,
to see that
yeah.
series.
We should
It's-
just have like a
it's-
Hannibal
oh,
podcast.
It's a
That
fucking
show
masterpiece.
Is so good.
It's one of the best looking, best produced shows I've ever seen. The cinematography is unbelievably good. You could take every single frame of that show. You could pause it at any second, and it looks gorgeous. The lighting,
Cool.
the set design, the everything. It's beautiful,
And
the
the acting
story,
is
the acting,
amazing.
everything is so on point. It's one of those rare 5-star shows, in my opinion, where it's just perfect
Alright.
through and through.
Yeah.
And oh man, Mads Mikkelsen.
And then
is
Red
so
Dragon-
good.
Between that and Freddy Krueger, I'm
Yeah.
stuck. I'm stuck in the house.
Once
for the
they
rest of the
once
week
they
now.
bring Red Dragon in there, dude, then they take it up to 11, and it's like, fuck, it's so awesome. God,
Yeah.
that show is so good. I'm making myself want to watch the whole thing again.
I know.
They're still talking about bringing it back for
I
season
know,
4.
I heard too, and a lot of people want to bring it back, and
I think it's too little, too late, man.
I actually think the way it ends is perfect. It's got
Yeah.
this kind of weird, vague finality to it. it feels like it shouldn't go on.
Right.
Yeah.
And I really think they shouldn't, but I don't know.
I mean, I'd watch it if they did, for sure. As
Let's-
long as Mads is in it.
I want to switch gears.
All right.
I want to
Okay.
throw this one out there, and I think I've mentioned this film before a couple of times. Tourist Trap,
I've
Does anyone
never
remember
even seen
Tourist
it.
Trap?
No.
No, I haven't seen it.
1979.
I've seen it once.
Chuck
It's been forever.
Connors, Mr. Slauson. Tourist Trap, Making the Dolls.
I am so sorry.
No,
but
you're cool.
Like,
Yeah.
This is a
my
weird one.
horror education before, like,
No, that's cool. This
80,
is a,
maybe?
this is
It's
a
pretty
really
bad.
this is a weird, obscure one. I only know one guy who has a copy of this movie. He's my old neighbor.
okay. I've heard of it, though,
it's a-
but I haven't seen it.
Frightening movie. It looks so weird.
Okay.
Because the guy's basically, I mean, I don't want to spoil it, but the guy's basically making people into dolls, right?
Okay.
And that's all I'm going to say. There's just some shit that goes down in this movie that it's just like it was another one of those ones I saw when I was very young, and those always put a hook in you.
Trap.
Tourist Trap.
79, you said?
1979. It's one of those ones I saw just early morning before school. One of those things. You know?
Anyone in it? Like, big
Oh.
at all?
Well, the guy I mentioned, Chuck Connors.
Okay.
He's long gone now, but he was perfect for the movie. He had this. He's one of them big square jawed dudes.
Yeah.
You know,
Like a Bruce Campbell.
but more
Uglier?
stout. More
Okay.
stout though.
Okay.
Not as because Bruce Campbell's a tall guy. This guy's more stout, right?
Okay.
And he's powerful, and the shit he's doing to people, it's like, oh, dude, and it's campy as fuck because it's,
Okay.
it's fun, but it's
79.
got some really disturbing things that just kind of are stuck in my head forever now. And now, was he a slasher? Okay, you guys got me on that one, but. I don't know. It was awesome.
Check out Tourist Trap. Look
Tourist
up a trailer
Trap.
for it. It's making me want to look it up now.
No, it's great. Yeah, it's something. It was something a little different. He had that same cycle. He did his thing. These films, they all. I mean, like Jason and Michael. All these characters, they kind of have their own little. I think a lot of them have their like trademark, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And Mr. Slauson from Tourist Trap definitely has his trademark.
All right.
Makes people into dolls. Sounds like almost kind of like a Batman villain.
Yeah, I was just gonna say like the doll maker.
But not nearly as
Yeah.
sophisticated.
Okay.
Not nearly. But that's what makes it. It's just a lot of fun. It's just one of those weird ones. When I was throwing ideas down, I'm like, oh man, Tourist Trap. It's a badass flick. And I'm sure. With the on-demand services, somebody has to have it somewhere.
Oh,
I'll
I'm
look it
sure
up.
the full movie's got to be on YouTube, I bet.
yeah. You could probably watch it on there. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. So that's I had to throw that one out there. I didn't want to forget that one. Did we haven't.
I have
we
a
haven't fucking
I have
Jigsaw.
a director because I don't know any
Yeah.
of the killers' names, but Fulci movies. All of his movies are super gory and slashery and just killers and
Which
Slasher.
movie?
titties and
Titties.
yeah, lots of violent sex things.
which
and
movies?
I brought up a question too.
Lucio Fulci. That's how you say his name.
Lucio.
Lucio.
Okay,
Right.
all
He's
right.
Italian.
Yeah.
He's from like the 70s and stuff like that.
Would we? Well, it's not a franchise, so it doesn't really have the same sort of cultural impact. But I was thinking, I Saw the Devil. Would that guy be considered?
Oh man,
kind of a
that dude was
slasher?
freaking, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Maybe an iconic
I
killer.
only saw it once, but I know
Yeah,
where
it
you're
was-
going with this.
It was a great movie, and it kind of plays into this whole thing. Like, he is sort of like a kind of a mythical horror in this universe of the film. He's sort of like this mythical serial killer, and this cop. It's so hard to say what it is without spoiling
Yeah.
what's so cool about it. But there's this really neat gimmick with how the cop doesn't want to take in the serial killer, even though he can. So
Yeah.
you see him kind of play with him and try. Man, I don't want to spoil it, but it's such a cool movie.
Yeah,
And I don't know if he'd fit in there, but Choi Min-sik plays him. That guy's
we're
awesome.
stretching the boundaries. I know
Yeah,
just a
we're really
little.
pushing. The
I'm sorry.
envelope here.
Let's
No,
go
that's
on to
cool.
the real one.
I've been beating the
We
hell out of
can't
this
talk
thing, so-
about iconic killers without talking about Ghostface
Yeah,
Oh,
so
yeah.
me-
Scream.
Well,
I just
was-
watched all of those the other night.
what I noted down here was more. I mean, yeah, Ghostface is. It's pretty iconic.
Pretty straightforward
But the voice,
slasher, yeah.
the voice,
sure, yeah.
which was done by Roger Jackson. Who, just
okay.
the phone call.
Yeah,
which was parodied all the hell in the
Oh,
first
of
Scary
course.
movie, which made it hilarious.
Yeah.
But that voice is something very unique.
It's funny because a lot of what was so great about the Scream series is I don't think people, even I didn't know at the time that it was sort of making a mockery of films of the time, of
Even
the
his
horror
own
cliches
movies.
of the time
Yeah.
in a really clever way. So I didn't really get what was so special about those movies until much later.
So I didn't give them much time when they came out at all. And then
Yeah.
recently, I've sat down. Well, not recently, but the last few years, I've actually sat. I'm like, oh, these are great films.
Yeah, they're
They're
good.
awesome,
They're good
yes.
movies. They're good horror movies. They're good,
They're
slasher flicks.
perfect whodunits.
Yep.
They're such fun
Yeah,
little mysteries.
it's like like
How about what about-
Ghostface did it in the
Yeah.
upstairs
And
bedroom.
it's fun to watch them all the time too. Even though you know who ends up being the killer, it's really still fun to watch like how each of those people are playing with each other in terms of like their character dynamics and
Just
stuff. And,
rewatching it,
you know, like,
that's what I was looking
oh,
at.
he's doing this during
Yeah,
that scene. I forgot.
exactly
Isn't
what
that
I was
funny
doing.
or whatever? Those
Yeah.
movies are so much fun.
What about John Doe?
Oh.
Kevin Spacey?
That's a
What's in the box? Gotta do it. Sorry.
that's
had
a
to.
unique one because we don't get to see him do any of it.
No.
Yeah.
That's an interesting.
That's what makes it more fucked
inclusion
up, though.
into it. Yeah, right. I mean,
It's Kevin Spacey.
Still,
just
in a
being
way,
Kevin
his
Spacey.
power is under a veil, just like
Yeah.
Jason Voorhees or Michael
Yeah.
Myers.
Myers, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe in a more grand way because we don't get to see it at all. We just
We just see the
You get to hear him
end
talk
result.
about it a
yeah.
little bit.
You just see you know that
I
he
tried.
did it though because we see his plan unfold exactly how he says it's going to, which
Yeah.
makes it
Well,
so much
he's
more
a puppet
terrifying.
master. He's
Yes.
pulling the strings through the entire movie, and he's manipulating
Yeah.
them to do all the things they do. He's controlling them. He's probably the smartest killer out of anybody
Oh yeah.
on this list.
Totally.
I mean, he
Right.
is
More
I
than
agree
Hannibal
with that.
Lecter? I don't know about that.
Hannibal's pretty damn clever, but I don't know.
Hannibal's-
John Doe's whole scheme is pretty elaborate, man.
I think
I
think
say,
Hannibal
yeah,
Lecter's
he might be a little bit more deep.
Hannibal Lecter is more action reaction type thing where he can react to things smart
Yes.
and get himself out of tight situations, which he always has. Whereas you were just saying, Chris, in 7, John Doe literally is orchestrating this entire
It's
plan.
it's his
It's a
swan
production,
song, you know.
yeah.
Yeah, and that's what makes that movie. I mean, really, it's one of those ones I didn't give it the credit and time it needed when it came out. And I saw it maybe 10, 12 years ago, and
God,
I was
I
like,
gotta watch
holy
that again.
shit, what a
Yeah.
movie. This
His
movie's
opus.
insane, dude.
Well, I think, the great thing about it, too, is you see everything being orchestrated the entire time.
Yeah.
And the development of Brad Pitt's character from beginning to end. He's kind of green at the beginning,
Yeah.
kind of doesn't know. And by the end, he is just fucked
Oh
up.
yeah.
Seriously.
Well, that's what you see at the end. Like,
Yeah.
give him the best care
Yeah.
you can give him.
And it's
I mean,
such a
'cause he was
grotesque
destroyed.
film too.
Yeah, oh, it
David
is.
Fincher has no fears of just showing you how nasty that shit gets.
Well, yeah.
The first death is with the
I'll
gluttony
never
one.
look at
Oh man.
I'll never look at a car air freshener the same.
Oh,
the same in
God.
that movie. I'll never.
Or spaghetti.
Yeah,
Yeah, or
anytime
spaghetti. Oh my
yes.
God, yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Um,
you're right. Anytime I see a fucking air freshener hanging, that's all I think about.
Yeah, it's like I'll never see those things the same after I saw that movie.
Oh god.
Our two. I mean, I think there's 2 more on my list. If there's any more, please.
I think,
whatever.
2 more, and
Let's do
we'll probably
2 more.
good.
Okay, let's just go with Pinhead. I mean,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Come on, yeah.
I mean, right.
He's on that same level as Freddy Krueger.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
And he's actually, I would say he's the epitome of it because he's actually a demon from hell.
Yeah.
Well,
So he is that mythos, He is that.
Yeah. He's my personal favorite because I think Doug Bradley took that character and he did do this as part of developing the character on his own. He made Pinhead not only this grotesque thing that, I mean, let me ask you guys, you may not remember this, you may remember this, but what was your first impression when you saw Pinhead?
I had watched a lot of horror movies
Yeah.
at my dad's house on a small VHS
Yeah.
You know, a small TV, like probably 17 inches on a VHS. So I watched a lot of horror movies that way, and usually very late at night. So horror movies always had a big impression on me. And that first Hellraiser movie, just like Nightmare on Elm Street, always had a big impression on me. The blood seeping into the wood and like how he formed, it was always really terrifying to me. And even, I don't know, for somebody that young seeing something like that, even the sex stuff kind of freaked me out in a way, just because of how the whole body horror thing, like mixing the two together, it was just fucking weird to me.
Yeah.
But Pinhead, what was your impression of Pinhead when you?
I'm sorry.
No, you're all right. No, you're
sorry.
good. You're good. You're good. You're good.
But yeah, like in the same regard, like just how raw and nasty that whole thing was, and Pinhead's like, I loved the voice.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was about his voice, but I thought his voice was so cool.
At least for me, when I saw Pinhead myself, I was like, you can't go any further than this. I don't think there's anything. If you look at Pinhead,
right?
If you look at him and look at what's been done to him, and not only his head and all the Cenobites, they're all mutilated in some way. And it's not just it's the thing, the detail that did go into those characters and the costuming, not only Pinhead's head, but his body. If you look at his body, he's cut everywhere.
Yeah, he's mutilated.
He's mutilated. I never saw anything like that in my life. And then you take a great actor like Doug Bradley, who has never, unfortunately, he was one of them people that got typecast.
Yeah.
He's a brilliant actor, classically trained actor, Shakespearean actor.
Yeah.
He took that theater that he learned, that's where he came from, was a theater, and applied that to this grotesque character and made him a poet.
Right. To me, Pinhead had this sort of gravitas to him that the other... He always seemed to me like above all of the other horror icons.
That's snooty.
Like he would be the guy leading all these dudes.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, he was a speaker.
Right. There was a certain power to Pinhead that was really awesome.
Yeah. I really loved how even with like part 3 and going past anything past part 2, people are like, oh, fuck all that shit, which I argue all day long. Part 5 Inferno, for example, I think is a really cool drama. It's not necessarily the goriest film in the franchise, but it's a great drama. It's a really interesting story.
That's the one with Craig Sheffer in it, right? Okay.
Yeah, the engineer, which I thought was a really cool character. They hunt for the engineer, and the engineer hunts you. I mean, it's badass, right? But I going through that was just this thread of Doug Bradley, this poet demon, whatever you want to call him. But, and I just love that juxtaposition of, because he really did say some pretty interesting, beautiful lines that a lot of them he wrote.
Did you read the book?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is very, very different. I mean,
there's great philosophy in there about the meaning of pain and what it means to be human and shit like that. And
but Pinhead's, represented very different in the Hellbound Heart, too. Yeah. I mean, not nearly as strong and powerful as in the film. In fact, if I remember correctly, as I haven't read that book in a number of years, the female Cenobite was kind of like the lead. She was kind of the boss.
Yeah, it sort of felt more balanced, I guess, where he wasn't as prominent.
Yeah. So, I mean, I could go all fucking night on Hellraiser, obviously, but that's Pinhead.
I think,
badass. Just badass.
Even Hell on Earth, like, I respect that movie as part of the original trilogy. It's watchable.
I love it.
It's passable.
It got goofy.
It gets a little
CD
silly.
guy and bartender guy and
CDE guy.
And the camera guy.
Yeah. But
see what you did? You see what you did, you bitch. Whatever. Yeah.
They were just trying to push it a little bit further, and I think that kind of started to get into
the darkness out of it.
Started to get into that Nightmare on Elm Street territory a little bit there.
Yeah.
But Pinhead is just, I mean, he is, of the best icons of horror, I would say.
I think in terms of concept.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's the best.
But he's all powerful. That's the big thing about Pinhead.
He's the Superman of...
Yeah. You can't really kill him because he exists on another plane of existence.
Yeah.
Which is different than Jason or Michael Myers.
Well, the mystery's kind of gone. I mean, that's Jason or Michael, like we've already said. There's force out there that we can't explain why they won't die.
Right.
you kind of can. I mean, take that, and that is a bit of a takeaway from Pinhead. Like, yeah, we do understand that he's an entity. Also, he's a force, but he also lives in a different dimension.
Well, I think that's what's so beautiful about horror is they exist because we are human and we have fear. So that like what Stephen King's It is all about is
is
that
fear.
thing exists. It feeds off of our fear.
Yeah.
And that's why they're all powerful. They just won't die because we're always scared.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why they're so cool.
Yeah.
Culturally, but that's why they're so cool in their own little
Well, that's what
universes.
makes them that's a heavy
you know?
idea too.
Yeah.
That's what makes them heavy characters.
Right.
based on
That's
that
why
idea.
Pinhead is so
Yeah.
cool because there's a lot of that philosophy in there of fear and pain and all that. It's
So yeah, I mean, I think I could riff on
Yeah,
Pinhead all
speaking
night.
of, man, I wish, oh God, I wish there was like I was so disappointed when, what's his name? Director of Martyrs, Pascal Laugier, whatever, something,
Yeah.
some French name. Pascal, I know his first name is anyway. He was supposed to reboot Hellraiser. And of course, I was having a super orgasm over that concept, and then he wanted to
Fell on its
go
face.
into some pretty weird territory with it, and the studio was like, "Nope." I'm so disappointed in that, but man,
Because that's what it needs.
I want to
Yeah.
see. I want to see
It needs
$100
that
million
other-
Hellraiser that's got the wildest, craziest fantasy, weird, evil dimension, special effects and shit in it.
There's
Denis
a lot.
Villeneuve,
There's a lot.
make it.
There's a lot you could go, and especially with part two. Part two did kind of get out there.
Yeah.
It got weird, the labyrinth and things got really
yeah,
kind
that
of
kind of
surreal.
shit. Man, I want to see that stuff with a massive budget and a good ass writer.
So I don't know. I mean, that idea is very interesting.
Yeah.
But to me, it's still, I hate to say like get off my lawn shit, but it's
Yeah.
like because Well, they weren't even going to use Doug Bradley though either, and that was the most insulting aspect of that idea. I'm like, wait, you can't. He made that character.
Well, the issue though now becomes age. I mean,
Yeah, I was gonna say,
even
he's too old now.
even Robert Englund came out this week and said if they wanted to make another Nightmare on Elm Street movie with him, he wouldn't do it because he's too old to play the character now. And I think with Doug Bradley,
You're right.
you would probably run into that. But
You're right.
there will be another actor out there that could play these people.
No, for
I
sure.
really just hope to see one day something, a Hellraiser that is as epic and grandiose as I want it to be.
I mean, yeah, that idea is beautiful. I'd love to see something done on that scale. Because that's really what.
From the right director and with the right minds behind it, of course.
Because it's an epic story.
Yes.
I mean, those characters are as epic as they come.
I mean, I know the studios would be terrified of this, but I want to see fucking Hellraiser, but made like Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah.
Wow.
That is what I want to see.
That would be.
That's what I think Hellraiser should be, and that's what it has been in my head since I was a little kid seeing this
Like,
shit,
huge.
and seeing like this
Yeah.
crazy, weird, fucking big world. Kind of like The Cell or The
Oh,
Fall.
man.
Like the visuals
Yeah.
in that.
That's
Like,
so
man,
amazing.
Like that is a new version of that. And God, I
Yeah.
want it.
Now that would be. I'm with you. I mean, just on that idea. There's always going to be the get off my lawn aspect
Oh, of
thing.
course,
But
of course.
but at the same time, yeah, it would be.
And they're
going to
make that shit PG-13, and it's not gonna have the balls it should, and it's gonna.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but see, with something like Hellraiser, it should be like NC-17.
That's got to be a
know?
hard R or get the fuck
Yeah.
off my lawn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has to be just context alone.
Well, I've always said part two, to me, just by the way it looks, how it moves, it's one of the bloodiest things I've ever seen. It's a goddamn bloodbath.
I really want to watch those again.
yeah,
part
I
two is
haven't,
a total
I haven't
bloodbath.
seen
It's insane.
Hellraiser in years.
The greatest line, and to think I hesitated, Dr. Chenard. That's like one of
Yeah.
the greatest, heaviest lines. I could go on. Okay, we're done. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Let's go
Oh,
home.
yeah.
Let's hit on Leatherface for a few
Leatherface.
minutes.
Yeah, we got to. Yeah.
We can't spend too much time because we did a whole damn show on this.
You know what? That I guess it's not really a remake, is it? The one that came out with Jessica Biel.
Yeah, it's a remake.
I
It's a
thought it was a
remake.
continuation.
No,
No, it's a
that's a
remake.
remake.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, I actually thought that was a pretty great remake.
Yeah,
as far as
I
remakes
loved
go.
it.
Yeah.
I remember it being pretty. Yeah, did you not like it?
No. Did you see Texas Chainsaw?
The original?
new
No,
one?
No.
There's the-
I'm sorry.
The newest
there's
one?
No.
It's hard to keep up. And there was the one. Was it a couple of years ago? Texas Chainsaw, where
Texas Chainsaw 3D.
Yes, thank you. And that's the
Yeah.
one where it's his cousin.
Oh, God,
Yeah,
what?
and it makes no sense
Fuck outta here.
whatsoever other than big boobies.
They were glorious in that film. I
Her
have to
boobies
say.
are glorious.
They're
They're a
glorious.
sight to behold.
Well, you were talking
But-
about the newest one, Texas Chainsaw.
He was talking about the remake.
With,
Texas.
That's the
Jessica
newest
With
one.
Jessica Biel.
No, with Jessica Biel that was out in 2003.
Oh God, yeah, that was okay. That's not the one.
Arlie
Arlie.
Ermy.
That's the, I do
He
dig
was,
that one.
oh my god, he's awesome.
Yeah.
That's the one with the camera shot that I always talk about.
Yeah, through the head.
The through the head thing.
Oh,
that
yeah,
was
yeah.
wicked. That was cool as hell. And yeah, Arlie was a total dick. I loved him.
With
He was
her
beautiful.
vagina gun. Sweet.
But I mean, that
Don't
movie
all
act-
women have vagina guns?
Yes.
that movie got back to the core of Leatherface being,
Yeah.
fucking one man wrecking crew, just
Right.
like Michael Myers.
There was
Yeah.
two films with Arlie Emery.
Yeah,
Yes.
it was Texas Chainsaw at the beginning.
Yeah.
That was actually really good too.
That wasn't bad either.
No, that was,
See,
I
I
was
didn't care for that
surprised.
one.
Well, you get the backstory.
Well, it wasn't. No, I didn't think it was like great or anything. I didn't.
Yeah.
It was better than it had any right to be.
Yeah,
You know,
actually,
like it,
yeah,
it,
for
it
being a
should
remake
have been
of
a complete,
you know?
total pile of dog shit. But
Yeah,
it was.
but it wasn't.
It was viewable.
Arlie Emery's, I don't know why he doesn't do more stuff, because, I mean, well, I guess he only really has one mode. It's just screaming his goddamn head
Yeah.
off.
Well, he's probably like in his mid 80s now, so he's
Yeah.
not. I don't. I think he's retired because he was doing like those military TV
Yeah,
shows
he
and
was.
stuff,
Those were fun.
and then he just stopped. But yeah, Leatherface, I think he's another one of the
That's
originators.
just- dude.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
The first movie was out in what, like 74?
It was 74, the original
Yeah.
Texas Chainsaw
Man,
Massacre.
I love that movie.
And that was Gunnar Hansen, obviously,
Yeah.
who played Leatherface in that.
But yeah, we did the full episode on Texas Chainsaw.
So
and
refer back to that.
Leatherface.
Yeah, you can find in our illustrious
The
podcast
archive.
archive of shows or whatever. But yeah, Leatherface. That's the one that really, it obviously over the years has become its own type. And we've been through this a bit, but it's been through its motions. But that was one of those ones when we were kids, though. I think I said it before, and I'll say it again. That was banned. Like
Yeah.
that was that movie and Scarface.
Yeah.
Like those two films were complete taboo. You were not allowed to see those movies, and we were dying to see
Yeah.
those movies.
Okay.
Those two were like this. My dad's like, you never watch the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's the worst thing ever.
See, that's why you are the way you are, Scott.
What is that?
I'm just saying. They
I
kept,
don't
you,
think I
they
was
kept you from the
ever-
good
Fucking
stuff,
asshole.
man.
I don't think I was ever
angry-
not allowed to
angry
watch
little man.
something like that.
What's that?
I don't think I was ever not allowed to watch something like that. To be totally honest, like if there was like some sex in it, maybe my mom would shield me. But I grew up watching anything that I was interested in. My
Yeah.
mom never really sheltered me from something like that.
Oh, my parents.
I mean, my very first like super gory bloody movie was I think Jaws, and I requested to watch a 2-hour movie almost every single day. I was like, okay.
No, there's only a handful. I don't think my parents smothered me that bad. Well, they maybe,
Right.
I don't know.
No, I mean I totally understand why it's gruesome and it's horrible watching
I was the
humanity
first
do these
millennial.
things. But
I don't know. Maybe I was the first millennial. I don't know what that is. No, yeah, but I mean, those films though. I mean, Leatherface, that character, that was just one of those ones. Like when I finally did see it, I was like, oh my god.
yeah.
Like that's something you truly.
I mean, it was so grimy and gnarly
Well,
looking.
yeah.
It was. You believed what you were looking at.
But Leatherface, I mean, again, and there's that character has been through a lot of changes over
Yes.
the years too.
Plus, he's arguably one of the most believable out of all of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, because he doesn't die and he doesn't keep coming back. He's never been killed
No,
No.
well,
in any of
been injured.
the movies.
Been
He's
injured.
been injured. Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, it feels like I could probably run into this guy
yeah.
if I went down the wrong road, you know?
Yeah,
and their fucking name is the Macabre family. Like, oh.
yeah.
Anyway,
Leatherface.
I used to actually think that
Leatherface.
shit was real.
watch the Hannibal series if you haven't. So do that.
I got a lot of homework. To do
Watch
this
Green
week.
Room and make sure you go see Blade Runner 2049 before
Don't
they pull it
watch
out of
the
theaters.
Leatherface prequel because it's fucking terrible.
Yep, you heard it here first or second. I
Green
don't know.
Room was
First,
cool.
were we the first ones to review that piece of shit?
I think second or third. Yeah,
Okay.
it was bad.
All right.
Not
All
everything needs a prequel.
We didn't even mention Chucky.
Oh, I forgot. So that's my own fault. You guys talk about it. I
No,
couldn't
it's
stand
too
Child-
late
No, it's
now.
good. We can only cover so
I
many.
couldn't
I
stand
know.
Child's Play. I thought that
It
was
get-
the goofiest character ever, dude. It drove me nuts.
Yeah, well, see, I
That's
don't
my
like Friday the
opinion.
13th
Man,
at all.
I actually
so.
like Chucky. I think those movies.
Talk about Chucky then. I want to hear.
No,
about,
it's good. No, we're
tell
good.
me-
I'm done.
no,
I'm
it's
done.
Don't 2 more minutes.
I gotta poop.
She's got to
she's a
poop.
All right, fine. Well, I want to know about Chucky though, because maybe somebody
Next,
can turn me
dude,
around.
we'll
on this.
we'll do an episode all about Chucky and Child's Play or something.
Yeah, somebody can turn me around on this because I really would
Yeah.
like to. Get
Or
back,
we
get into
won't.
those movies if I can.
Or we won't.
Fine.
All right.
All right, we're out of here.
Visit us at www.themoviesleuth.com and find The Movie Sleuth on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and iTunes.